Hello everyone, I am Satyam Gupta from the TYBSc Zoology class at Professor Ramkrishna More Arts, Commerce and Science College, Akurdi, Pune. In the first week of October, we are celebrating Wildlife Week, and I'm presenting my presentation today in continuation of Wildlife Week lecture series. So today I'll try to discuss and try to share some piece of information with you regarding can an ecosystem recover? We are quite familiar with the term ecosystem in ecology and also in biology. Ecosystems are very much resilient, which means that they can regain their state of balance and their natural state of harmony between all the living organisms. But how resilient ecosystems are? Can an destroyed ecosystem heal? So I'll be talking about a national park which is located in Mozambique. Mozambique is a southern African country where the Gorongosa National Park is located. Gorongosa National Park is located near the Great Rift Valley in the southeastern African country of Mozambique. Approximately the whole land area it covers is more than 4,000 kilometers. It consists of tropical rainforest, savanna, woodland, grassland. Also, we are very familiar with the renowned biologist Sir E.O. Wilson, uh, who said once that this is the Gorongosa National Park is ecologically most diverse park in the world. Now, what is the natural environment of the national park? So here are some facts that approximately 160 kilometers, which is 100 miles from the Indian Ocean, it consists of Mount Gorongosa. Due to Mount Gorongosa, the winds are warm here, air is moist and very high humidity, which makes the perfect conditions for a tropical rainforest. It is said to be Africa's largest continuous montane forest, which is the forest found in mountains. The two key elements of the natural environment of the national parks are the Mount Gorongosa and the Lake Urema. In the wet season, which is in rainy season, lake is very much larger and has presence of rivers. In dry season, the lake is very much smaller and there are fewer rivers. So the biome of the national park is savanna type. So here you can see these two images where in wet season, which is in rainy season, the lake Urema is very larger in size and there are n number of rivers. And in dry season, which is in summer season, you can see that uh, the size of the lake Urema is very small and the number of rivers are also decreased to very great extent. Uh, in this image, you can see you can observe in the back of it. You can see there are some tall trees. These make the trees the tree portion of the national park, and then you can see here is a patch of a continuous line of uh, uh, greenery which makes the woodland biome, and then you can see here is the brown dried grasses which makes the grassland biome. So this complete form of ecosystem or biome is termed as savanna biome. So what is the history of this national park? uh, the history is the first human records are very older, like 3 lakh BCE. In 1920, the Portuguese colonized this country, the Mozambique country, and they created the 1,000 kilometers hunting reserve. In 1966, the park's size was reduced from 5,300 square kilometers to 3,770 square kilometers. This was for providing more land for local farmers. In 1972, eventually Mozambique got independent, and unfortunately, the country was caught into a devastating civil war. Due to this civil war, there was the massive killing of animals for food. There was animal trafficking, wild animal trafficking. For example, elephants for their ivory, for paying for weapons and immunization during the war. And in aftermath of the war, there was food shortage, and due to for food and eating purposes, there was massive hunting of large animals. In 1980s and 1990s, in the national park, there was dramatic decline in lion, elephant, buffaloes, and zebras, and specifically other herbivores. So you can see here in this table that there was very massive loss of large herbivores, which are very important for our ecosystem to sustain. For just an example, the number of elephants in the national park was reduced by 92%. The number of hippo in the national park was reduced by 97%. The African buffaloes were reduced by 99%, and there was this very bad destruction of the ecosystem in the Gorongosa National Park. And at the top of it, there was loss of various plant species. The plant diversity was very much declined, and due to the massive wildfires in the dry season, uh, again the ecosystem of Gorongosa National Park was hampered. And along with that, the Mozambique is one of the poorest country in the world, and Gorongosa is its poorest district. Now, I told you about the situation which was very bad at Gorongosa National Park. So there was this great effort in 2008. The government of Mozambique, along with the Gorongosa Restoration Project, which is a U.S. non-profit organization, made a 20-year deal uh, uh, at the cost of 40 million US dollars. The main objective and goal of this public-private partnership was to restore and conserve the biodiversity of the park and sustainable development. Uh, the the two key features were traditional conservation by creating parks and protecting them, and their sustainable conservation, and the repopulation of some of Gorongosa's key animal species. So there was this translocation of animals from other parks in Mozambique and South Africa and Zimbabwe to the Gorongosa National Park. Uh, the elephant and hippo population needed new individuals to increase their genetic diversity. The number of zebras were so low numbers that they were unable to rebound on their own. And wild beast and buffalo had been completely wiped out from the national park. So, since 2008, in the Gorongosa Restoration Project, was working in the Gorongosa National Park, and due to their great efforts, we can see here in this table that the number of water bugs increased by 100%. Still, you can see that the number of lions also increased by 30%. But as you can see, that the number of zebras is decreased by 1%, and uh, the number of elephants was increased by 20%, and the number of buffaloes was increased by just least of 5%. So you can see that some species are doing good, but some species are not. In 2013, there was a survey to record the various number of the species of animals found in the national park, and what they found out was there are still 182 bird species, 33 frog species, 100 ant species. Uh, uh, Due to the great effort of Gorongosa Restoration Project, uh, the in a way or the other ecosystem of the national park is healing. Here you can see some of the examples of the animals found in the national park. Here is the impala, African elephants, and zebra, namely. Now, what's the outcome of this restoration project? The outcome is that the whole restoration project focused on the human nature relationship. We can't protect animals in isolation somewhere by creating sanctuaries, by creating national parks. There should be a very strong human nature relationship. In 21st century, national parks must operate equally effectively inside and outside of the park's borders. It's not just about protecting a particular area and just the job is done. We need to look at inside and outside of the national park's borders. A core belief is that the health and the security of the Gorongosa ecosystem is directly linked to that of the people living around the park. Uh, some of the amazing features of these restoration projects were that the park has also hired local scouts to guide tourists and share tourism revenue with the surrounding community. Here you can see an image of a grasshopper. This grasshopper was identified and discovered and was included in nomenclature 100 years ago. And after its discovery, after 100 years, it was found again in the Gorongosa National Park. So you can understand that this park is really very important. In this last slide, you can see the location of the Gorongosa National Park. It's still struggling to thrive once again, but we hope that the Gorongosa National Park is very successful because it was because it was one of the most diverse national park in the world, on the earth planet, and its restoration will give us hope that due to climate change, pollution, human interventions, and other various problems, environmental problems caused by human beings and by our devastation of habitat, is there any possibility to recreate the national park and revive the ecosystem? So some of the questions are need to be answered, but in due course of time, with ecology studies progresses and with the success of Gorongosa National Park project, restoration project, this question will certainly be answered. Can this ecosystem recover after a 15-year civil war? What would recovery look like? Would species need to return to pre-civil war levels? How do the effects of climate change and tourism impact the nature of the system? Many questions are still unanswered, but there is a very good hope this Gorongosa National Park restoration project have brought. At the end, the bottom line is we need to understand patterns and processes at different ecological scales of ecosystems. Ecosystems work not as a collection of different parts. This is very important that the ecosystems don't work as collection of different parts, but as a dynamic whole. And while looking at that, looking at the bigger picture, we have to go for an holistic wildlife conservation project. Thank you very much, and happy Wildlife Week. Save animals, that's least we can do as human.